Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of the SkolCast live. Chris Wilkie here with Jeremy Carter. Good to have you back. We've been on a hiatus here for the month of July, just taking a couple of vacations and spending some time with family and things. And how has your summer been, Jeremy?
Hey, fantastic. But you know what? I'm certainly getting excited to come back here this fall. You know, it's August now, so you know what that means. It means mini camp, and NFL is just around the corner. And I can't wait to talk to our next guest who is very familiar with the NFL season, the mini camps, and the preseason. And it's a good time of the year. Fall's rolling around. That's what it means.
Absolutely, it is. So this guest needs no introduction, but I am going to introduce with one clip here to set the stage for our guest here. So here we go.
Chargers need a touchdown. Rivers hooks a pass. Intercepted. Chad Greenway is there. And Greenway's got a convoy in front of him. Greenway down the sideline. Chad Greenway's going to take it all the way. Touchdown, Vikings.
It's got to be that South Dakota and Iowa speed. It's got to be, right?
Exactly. Well, and as you just saw, our guest tonight, Vikings legend in my book, one of the greatest linebackers in the team's history, number 52, Chad Greenway. Chad, welcome to the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you playing the clip and even saying that I'm fast. That always makes me feel good. Especially now that I'm a retired old guy, so I need that once in a while.
Awesome. Well, hey, Chad, we've been looking forward to this for some time now, getting this since we've got this set up with you, and just appreciate you spending the time with us. And we've got a lot to cover, and we want to respect your time. So let's get rolling. So Chad Greenway, 11 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, 2 Pro Bowl appearances, first-round draft choice in 2006. Chad, you kind of got off to a little bit of a rough start in your career with that unfortunate in your preseason. You had that ACL injury in your first year. What kind of motivation did you have to come back for that second year when you of your career?
Yeah, the start of my career was interesting. Obviously, being a first-round pick and having a lot of expectations, you tend to put a lot of pressure on yourself. And I think, now that I've had time to reflect on my career, and as I've been away from the game now for a few years, you actually look at that year that I had as an advantage. The pressure you're under as a first-round pick to go out and perform. And obviously, anytime that somebody gets paid, ask Kirk Cousins this now. Anytime somebody gets paid to come into the NFL and do something, the expectations from the fans is to go out and they better be good, they better perform. And for me to kind of have that pressure almost lifted due to injury, and to say, well, we lost Greenway for the year because he can't play because of injury, and a severe one, it almost gave me an advantage to come back. And I really do think that my 11-year career happened because I missed my first year. I do think it was an advantage. I got a chance to learn from guys like Steve Hutchinson, Ben Lieber, Matty Burke, all these guys that are great players and great people, but also just learned how they go about their business. Learned how Jim Kleinsaucer went to a workout. Learned how Jim Kleinsaucer went to a meeting, right? Just watch these guys. So, rough start, but really just trying to use my advantage.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the kind of the mental component of it, where you come back after a year of being out and just get to watch everyone there without any real pressure on you, without the pressure of performing on the field, and take that time. Was there any particular player that stood out to you, going through that first year, or just through your 11-season career, that you said, hey, I really want to try to emulate a guy like that, whether it's his work ethic, his mental approach to the game? Was there a guy that stands out to you? I'm always curious about NFL players, and do they look up to people in the NFL or a particular player on the team and go, that's who I want to emulate?
Yeah, I think that the two guys I looked at was, and I already mentioned them, was Ben Lieber from a personal standpoint, right? He played linebacker. He had been in the NFL for 5 years when I got to meet him, or went to his 5th year. And really from a personal side and a preparation side, how to take care of your body, what to eat with your nutrition, he really taught me the ropes and became, still to this day, one of my best friends, and a guy that I look up to, now as much as I did then as a 22-year-old kid. Just in how he is as a dad, a husband, right, and just navigates this life, and we bounced up, off each other all the time, and just learned so much from him. And I think the two other guys from like a professional standpoint, like a football standpoint, it was like the other two guys I mentioned, Steve Hutchinson and Jim Kleinsaucer, because you have a guy like Steve who's obviously going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, just elite level of ability, and have a guy like Jim who at one point was one of the biggest physical specimens on the Vikings. I mean, with the things he could accomplish and do, just watching those guys work, watching those guys be professionals, and then go out there and perform on Sundays, and just see the level that I needed to get to be great and be consistently great like those guys were. So those are probably the three that when I walked into the locker room were the three that I really kind of resonated with and walked over to and said, hey, I want to learn from this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lieber is still in Twin Cities, he's working with doing some things with K-Fan. He's doing some things, with some broadcasting, and he's really involved as well. So I can imagine you probably still have a good relationship with him as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see Jim a lot too. Jim lives on Lake Minnetonka with me, so we see each other once in a while. Hutch is down in Tennessee, so don't see him as much. But yeah, Ben, Ben and I run across each other quite often. So we actually have the old man breakfast club. So Chris Bollinger, Matt Burke, myself, Lieber, Kleinsaucer, we get out and have some breakfast. About once a month we get together and drop our calendars and say, hey, we're going to get together and just tell some old war stories. And it's fun to do that and just to stay in touch, even if we're not seeing each other on a regular basis.
No, you bet. So we have one question from one of our audience. So what was your favorite season that you went through? And I think I may know the answer, but I want you to answer. What was your favorite season that you had in the 11 years?
Well, I have two for different reasons. My top one is 09, and that's just because, obviously playing with Brett, that season we had was pretty magical and fun. Obviously playing the NFC Championship game was really the pinnacle of my career. You take that loss and obviously all the stories that go around that game, but you look back at your career and realize that that was the pinnacle of my career. That was the best game, the biggest moment of my football career, and it was a pretty special one and pretty fun. A game you obviously want to win, but sometimes you learn a lot from those losses, and you take those into your life and you learn from them. And I don't look at that game as a negative like most fans probably do. I look at it as it is, what a crazy opportunity that was, and just, the fun environment that it was. But I look at the 08 season with Gus Frerotte and all the things that he did for us on on that run in the second part of our season, won 8-9 games in a row, and really kind of gave me the first taste of success in the NFL. And it was a lot of fun, and obviously the hindsight, you go back and you wish T-Jack wouldn't have probably become the starter going to the playoffs, and you would have stayed with Gus, because who knows what could have happened, because we were playing really good football towards the end of that season in 08, for those Vikings fans they can remember. And I think that was really special because it kind of gave me that first test of playoff football and really playing at an elite level and taking my own personal game to the next level. And so those two, the 08, 09 were probably two that you want to remember for the positive reasons. And 2010 was one you want to remember for all the wrong things. But when you look back at all the things that happened in 2010, we could do a whole separate show on this. Pretty unique season we went through, but none for good reasons.
Right. So, as a linebacker, I'm always curious, was there any particular player that you knew that, during your seasons that, hey, when I played this guy, I had to be at the top of my game, or just a guy on the other side of the ball that really either was quick or was just a hard guy to plan around from a linebacker perspective? Was there any one guy that you always go, man, I gotta give a little extra here if I can?
Yeah, from a tackling standpoint, guys like Marshawn Lynch is the real deal. Even Eddie Lacy in his prime over in Green Bay was really hard. Just the scheme they ran and his body type was hard to bring down. But then you look at other guys, right? Scheme guys. You look at guys like Theo Riddick, who just, I think he just got released from Detroit. Guys like Reggie Bush that they put in the backfield and make you cover. But I'll say, if I was going to have one guy that I looked at, and it was early in my career when I was sort of in my prime, and he was kind of towards the end, with Brian Westbrook of the Eagles. And we just played against him a few times, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves for the type of player that he was. And sort of one of those guys like a Darren Sproles that, when you put him in the right environment, the right situation, as far as running screens and catching the ball in the backfield, and obviously in the running game, he was a unique player and a hard player to bring down, especially in the open field. So I would say, I list a lot of names. So if I had to go with one, I would go with Brian Westbrook.
Interesting.
Wow. Awesome. Chad, are you still involved with the Vikings directly in any capacity?
Well, stay tuned. I haven't been. I do some quote unquote consulting and conversation work with some of the young players coming in, just on how to navigate their careers and some of the pitfalls that can happen. But we are working on something on the side right now that may become a big thing, and that'll be announced in the next 30 days if it happens. But I'd love to get back and work something there, just to be involved and be around. Love football, love what it gave me and the opportunities. But for the most part, I've been really sound and moving on with my life and my 4 kids and all the things that we have going on. It's been fun and challenging, and I was really ready to move on, which I think is nice. But I can't foresee moving back into some sort of role eventually.
Well, I definitely think it'd be a plus for them with your experience and the background you've had and being in the league that long and just the connections you've made. I think it would be a win-win situation. So wish you the best of luck in that endeavor.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You bet. I think that's a great segue into kind of the next part of our conversation with kind of a lot of the things that you're working on now and have been working on for a few years, but that may be on the just more of the top of mind things for you right now, which is kind of your philanthropy and maybe even a business venture here and there. So let's kind of talk through a few of those because there's a lot of them. So let's talk through your the Tender Heart Luncheon. Now that's something that you put on, I think, annually, and that honors mothers of critically ill children and things like that. You want to chat about that one just for a second?
Yeah, so our foundation's about 11 years. It is 11 years old now, and we started that as sort of an opportunity for us to use the platform the NFL gave us. My wife Jenny and I really believe in just giving back to the community that we were going to live in, and at that time play in. The Tender Heart Luncheon is coming up this fall. It's a women's luncheon for moms that have either sick kids, have lost kids. We have people that are losing kids at the moment. I mean, it's really stories that you can't believe as a parent. And what we do is we put all these women, around 200 to 250 women in a room that all kind of understand each other's plight. And we give them a microphone and we kind of just step back and let them tell their story. And, over the course of 2 to 3 hours, we hear some dramatic stories and we see some great relationships built. And we give them just this opportunity to have a day away from their stress. We pamper them, we take care of them, we give them gifts. But what we give them is an opportunity to be around people that are like them. And that's just one of, like you said, the many programs we're doing. We have a locker program that we're in 9 hospitals, where kids and families can reach for different technologies for support, whether it be a laptop, if you're a parent to return emails, or if you're a kid that wants to play Xbox or watch an iPad. We provide all that technology and update those quarterly as technology moves and shakes. We try to stay up with that, and so that's another one of our big programs that we do, and we just really try to gather around families that need help and just try to bring some support that we can. And it's not always money. It's not always the technology we provide with the lockers. Sometimes it's just your time, like in the Tender Heart Luncheon, and they really appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, definitely, and it's interesting that Chad's Locker because here in Hutchinson we are a recipient of that, right? You opened up one here
Yes.
at Hutchinson Health. I think you've opened up
Yep.
a couple in Minneapolis. I think you've done one back home in South Dakota. And you're up to about are you up to seven or eight of
We're
those
at
now?
nine. We're at nine.
Nice.
You're
Yeah,
at
we have
nine now.
Iowa
Okay,
City. We have 5 in the metro. Benson, Wisconsin, Iowa City, and Sioux Falls. So,
Sioux Falls. Okay.
yeah, so it's been a great program for us, and it really allows us to get the biggest reach. And our oldest locker just turned 11 years old, so I mean we've been doing this now for a long time. And the first one was at Masonic Children's Hospital on the U of M campus, and just spoke with that director actually 2 days ago, and it's fun to see what that locker program what it's grown to, and the size and scope now that locker program is about 4 lockers. If you think of like a football locker, so it's just fun to see the growth.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I when I looked through all the programs, through the Lead the Way Foundation, I did like the Tender Heart one because I thought, a lot of times you're working with, the kids that have illnesses or chronic diseases, but I think sometimes the parents kind of forget about the amount of effort and work it takes to go through that with a kid. And so I especially thought that was an interesting program that you're running where you're recognizing the moms and getting them together from a support system and kind of giving them a
Yeah,
chance to relax. So I thought that was really cool that you do that, and I've heard some
yeah.
good things about that.
And some of the most surprising stories you hear, and there's probably families out there listening now that are going through something like this, but the situation these families get themselves into and what happens is just so unfortunate. You realize that it doesn't matter, sickness and disease knows no boundaries, right? It doesn't care how much money you have, it doesn't care where you're from, it doesn't care what color you are. It just happens, and I think it's important for all of us to understand that. And when we think about giving our time or money or effort, whatever it is, we think about other people because we know that could be us, and we know that if we were in that situation, we would want help, and a lot of these families aren't willing to ask for it. So you need to go just kind of say, hey, we're going to do this, and you need to show up, and we want to take care of you. and that's something that we really appreciate we can do.
So what was the trigger point for you guys to get into this type of area with philanthropy when there's so many other things that you could get involved in and put your effort to? What was it, something in your personal life? Was it something that you and your wife said, hey, this is just an area that we've come in contact with? And I'm curious about how you got involved in those particular areas.
For us, we initially started with a lot of breast cancer awareness stuff, and breast cancer conversations
Mm.
with women and young women and men who had breast cancer because we lost both of our grandmothers to breast cancer, and that was early in our career. And again, just going back to why we did it is we wanted to use our platform for something that was going to live longer than my stats or my ability to play football, and that's where our foundation stepped in. And now our oldest kid's going to turn 12 this year, and we hope that this foundation could be 10, 20 years old where she can really have an invested interest in trying to help grow it and continue to grow it and support it. So we want this to be a family legacy that we can leave. But I think the biggest thing was when we had our first child, right? And you see how delicate and how sensitive that is to have that, and then to imagine complications. We're fortunate to have four healthy children to this point, and you realize that can change in a day. And we've seen it, and we've heard the stories. And I think once you start to get there and you hear it, you tend to kind of change your level of thought and process. And for us, it was about starting a foundation and changing our scope of our foundation, moving in this direction towards kids, and we've gotten a lot of great benefits from it, just great families and relationships through it as well.
So let's talk for one more minute about your foundation. You got another event coming up here in about 45 days or so. It's the Celebrity Waiter Night. That's at Manny's in Minneapolis. And tell us just a little bit about that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. It's a fundraiser for us, and we're one of the very, very few people that Manny's Steakhouse downtown Minneapolis will work with on the charity side. And they give us a night. They've done it now for 8 years, where they allow us to come in and we host about 150 of our closest friends, and we serve them family style steak and taters and all the good stuff, the desserts, and we have now my former teammates, current Vikings, former Vikings. We have Wild players, former Wild players, Timberwolves, Twins. There'll be all sorts of people that are serving food and kind of just making it a fun environment. And what we'll do is we'll talk about our programs. We'll celebrate some of the stuff we've accomplished, and we'll also have conversations about things we want to accomplish. And it's just a great fundraiser for us. It's a fun event. Everybody drinks too much wine and eats too much food, and those are the kind of events you want to be a part of. And what it does, it gives people some perspective on the scope that we're trying to reach and the things that we're trying to do. And obviously nights like that are the ways that we can help and support so many families.
That's great. Yeah, that one looked really awesome. So try to segue in really quickly. I know we're kind of running a little short on time, but let's talk for a minute about the Data Reach football camp here in Hutch that we do locally. And I know you just presented a check to a local resident here that was had a car accident, or I think it was an automobile accident, I believe. Scott Schindler, and we're able to present a check for some equipment to upgrade his home and things. Talk about that football camp for a second, if you will.
Yeah, man. We're with Chad Harlander out there at Hutch, and just such a good person and such a great just friend of mine, and so fun to be able to work with him in this camp. And he does such a magnificent job of rallying that community for a number of different reasons, but most importantly for his Reach program, what he does with those kids in that school. And if I had $1 for every time I got a thank you letter from a Reach kid out of Hutchinson or in that area, I'd be a millionaire. And it's just their kids are so sweet, and I love what they've done and what he's done with that program. And every year now that we've done this and we're able to raise some good money through a lot of great people on the Hutch, businesses, individuals that give money. And then obviously we do charge for the camp because we give every dollar back to the Hutchinson community, whether it be through the weightlifting program or through the Reach program. And in this case, the last few years, we've reached out to families that really are in need of a specific need. In Scott's case, he needed some help on rebuilding his house after tragic accident that basically changed his life. And so we wrote him a check. We were able to peel off $5,000 from that camp and those sponsors and try to change his life and impact his life in a positive way. And and Hutchinson's a pretty big town, 15,000 people, right? But to impact one individual and have a team and a community rally behind a guy is exactly what a family and a person like Scott needed and needs continually. And that community is going to support him and that family. And just so proud to have a kind of a home away from home at Hutch. We've done so many different events. As you mentioned, our lockers at Hutch Health. We do a camp every year. I know a lot of the high school kids that have gone through their program come back and still help Harley with our camp. And it's just been such a fun relationship for me to grow. And like I said, kind of a home away from home for me.
Yeah, I certainly think Harley's presence and your presence in the community has been something that's been well received by the community. I certainly have boys that have gone through the camps, and I think not only the football side of things, but I think the messages that you guys teach the kids while you're out there on the football field, respect, hard work, and those types of things. I think those are messages that you can't put a price tag on because they're hearing it from people like you and people that have been out there and been successful, and that's what it takes to be successful. And I hear that all the time from my kid and my kid's friends and those types of things. So I think outside of the football itself, I think the messages that you guys are getting to the kids, are things that are going to be lifelong messages. So we certainly appreciate your time and that you're out here and working with Chad Harlander to put that camp on, and the things that you are teaching the kids is insurmountable. So.
Yeah, I think you talk. This year we were talking about generosity, and that's where we bring Scott in and his family, and we show the kids, right. And in that case, it was giving an amount of money, right, that would change and impact Scott's life. But we explained to them that sometimes it's about meeting somebody new, right. Helping a kid at school, reaching out and holding the door for anybody, right, and just changing somebody's life in a small way, meeting somebody new, really challenging yourself to grow as a person. And that's what football camp's about. It's not about learning how to backpedal or throw a football. We like to think that it is, but it's about character. It's about building that. It's about building the person and the kid, and building a strong foundation. And we hope to really change people's lives in that way, even in a small way, right? In a 2-day football camp.
Right. Great message.
Well, we're trying to finish up here and be respectful of our time. We know you've got a child's activity coming up here, but 60 seconds on Grey Duck Vodka, your venture that you're doing there.
Yeah, so Grey Duck Vodka came to me about a year ago with some partners. They're in the Twin Cities, and no, a year and a half ago now. And so we turned a year old last week. We launched last August 10th. And in our first year, we did about 110,000 bottles. And we had some great success, and we're really branching out and reaching a lot of people, and a lot of people have been supportive of us for a number of different reasons. But our product is made in Benson, the Seaback factory out there. We source our corn right from Minnesota farms, right around there. And we make it, we bottle it in Minnesota, we serve it here, and now we're in 5 states.
Wow.
We just added the dreaded western Wisconsin. But there's a lot. What we found is there's a heck of a lot of Minnesotans and a lot of Vikings fans in western Wisconsin, so we want to go tap into that. But what people have really been in love with our Grey Duck brand is yes, it's a vodka brand, and we sell a bunch of hats and T-shirts and fun stuff too. But this is Minnesota's vodka, right? This is who we are. Grey Duck is something that separates us from the other 49 states, and we're certainly proud to be that. And we've really found that message to be true, and we want to provide a product that is totally Minnesotan in every way, and also the quality, to prove that we can bring a high quality product that can challenge anybody's out there on the market, and do it with corn that's sourced right from here. And it's been really fun. Again, we're about 1,400 accounts. We're in 5 states now. And things are going really well. And now, because of doing things like this, and listeners out there, is we want you to walk in, find a Grey Duck bottle, grab it, and tell all your friends about it, and then make a Bloody Mary with it on tailgate Sunday for Vikings games. That's what we really want you to do. So, it's been a fun venture. We've learned a lot. We've taken a lot of L's in meetings, and people giving us the stiff arm, if you want some football cliches. But we keep fighting the battle, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I'll tell you, I've done some unscientific polls with a bunch of my friends in the cities that are huge vodka drinkers, and they have nothing but good things to say about the Grey Duck vodka. So they wanted me to tell you that's 2 thumbs up. They really like it. So you guys are doing something good there.
We've entered 3 competitions. We've gotten gold medals on all of them, and then on our label, which is very Minnesotan, double gold medal, which is the highest standard possible. So we've got a good response from a national audience as well. So I appreciate those 2 thumbs up.
Good.
That's awesome. So thanks for coming on, Chad. And we want to take 15 seconds and just say this wouldn't be possible without one person that set this up, and that's Chad Harlander here. And I know we've already touched on it, and you've talked about him a couple times and things, but your final thoughts on Chad Harlander and your relationship with him and what he means to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a special friendship, right? It's a guy we met kind of by a friend of a friend, 12 years ago now, and just what we've been able to grow out and touch, but more importantly, just what he stands for as a person, a human being. and just the things he does in that community. If you know Chad, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How special he is and the energy he brings, and he's just a boomstick, right? Everything he does big, and he does it well, he does it hard, and I just love everything about him. And he's that guy that I wish I could just put in my pocket and bring with me everywhere I go, because he motivates me, to another level. And he's almost certain if we can do it, but we don't want to bring that up on this show. But no, he's a great friend and somebody that I really respect.
Well said.
Awesome. Chad, we really appreciate you taking the time. We're gonna send you off now and get you off to your family activities, but really appreciate you taking the time tonight, and look forward to having you on again down the road. So, Chad Greenway, appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks again, Chad.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys. And listeners out there, if you're getting more information on Grey Duck, go to greyduckspirits.com. You can follow us on Instagram. We're gonna do a bunch of promotional giveaways and things, some fun stuff during Viking season. So, if you're listening to this, you're probably a Vikings fan. You are a Vikings fan. Follow us on Grey Duck, and if you do that, you'll get a chance to win some pretty cool stuff. So thanks for having me on, guys. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Chad. We'll see you
Great.
down the road.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya. Chad Greenway, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jeremy, good show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and appreciate Chad Harlander for setting this all up, just like we said. So we'll kind of cap this off with we've got a lot of things going on in the pipeline with the SkolCast, but that's due because of the fact that the Vikings are back in training camp right now, and the season's fastly approaching. So we'll definitely be back online here soon with more SkolCast and more information and some more thoughts on the team. So good show. Appreciate it, Carter.
All right.
Thanks,
As
buddy.
always.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for watching, guys.
SkolCast Live on Twitter, facebook.com/SkolCast Live. Thanks, everybody.
Skol Vikes.